this morning. I was copying notes for the other class in my other sections, but I happened to run into our librarian, Miss Greebly, Miss Darla, and she told me, it was something I didn't know, that you guys can actually check out books out of the library. So go on to the little Destiny app, apparently, and you can see what's available in the library. They'll pull it for you, and you can go pick it up. So if you're interested in checking out books from the library, it is entirely possible. So, and you can go say hi to Darla. So apparently they're busy like all day long. So, and that gives you someone else to talk to. For sure. Good morning, Cole. All right, here we go. We are going to solve rational equations algebraically today. So the biggest thing in here is that we're going to try to get rid of the fraction, right? We don't have a love-hate relationship with fractions, right? We really don't like them. And so if we can get rid of them and go, woohoo, they're gone, it's much easier to solve something, okay? So rational equations can be solved algebraically, and this is exactly what we're going to do right in here. By multiplying through by the LCD and solving the resulting polynomial equation. So I would highlight that or underline it or something, okay? However, this eliminates information about the excluded values of the original equation. Sometimes an excluded value of the original equation is a solution of the polynomial equation. In this case, with the excluded value will be an extraneous solution of the polynomial equation. Extraneous solutions are not solutions of the equation. So we're going to have to go back and double check to see if anything that we get is extraneous. Okay. So in this case, so I'm going to look at example 1 here. And we could do a little cross multiplying. I'm going to use the same technique over and over. Cross multiplying is another technique we could use but it only works for like this example. It doesn't work for everything. So I'm going to go through the LCD example. So I am going to just start by we'll use green. I'm going to do some factoring. Okay. So look at this second denominator here. Help me out in the chat. Remember, you're getting points for helping me in the chat. What do I need to do? Tell me in the chat really quick. Tell me in the chat, what do we need to do here? Not denominator. All right, definitely the CF, right? And I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm not going to write the whole thing out 10 million times, okay? I'm just going to neatly right underneath here, because some of these problems can get long, okay? And I want to try to show you logical ways to eliminate steps, but not completely lose all of your work, okay? So when I'm going to take out that 2 and I get x minus 5. All right, so just like we learned last week when we were learning LCDs, okay? I'm going to circle what matches. So in these two denominators, what would I be circling in red? Can you tell me what would I circle in red? Ah, yes, x minus 5. And I only get to write that down one time. And then I underline in blue to make sure I don't lose anything. And I'm underlining in blue with 2. I'm going to squeeze it in front because we typically like that. Okay. So now I know that my least common denominator is, I'm going to leave myself some space, the 2 in blue, right? And the x minus 5 in red. So now I'm going to compare each of these denominators to my least common denominator, okay? No, I'm not. I'm going to do something different. Sorry. This isn't adding or subtracting. Let's try that again. I could have left those, but whatever. So it's x minus 5, 2 times x minus 5. And then I'm just rewriting this out. I'm only doing this so that I don't lose my original equation there. Okay. All right, so I am going to multiply everything by the LCD, meaning I am multiplying this by 2 times x minus 5. And I am multiplying this by 2 times x minus 5. Okay. Now, here's where the satisfaction comes in, right? We love canceling things. So in this first term, I get to cancel x minus 5, and I am going to distribute the 2. So I would get 6x plus 14 equals. In the second term, I'm going to cancel the 2's and I'm going to cancel the x minus 5. So I just get 5x plus 17. And woohoo, the fractions are gone. Now we can solve it, right? So I'm going to move the 5 to the left side. So I do that by subtracting. So 6x minus 5x would just be x. And move the 14 to the right side by subtracting. So 17 minus 14 is 3. And remember we said, hey, we can't have an excluded value. So here's how I deal with that piece. I go, and this is why I didn't get rid of my original. I go back to my original equation. And I should use a totally different color. Let's use orange. And I look to see if I can put this in the denominator and it doesn't make 0. So I notice 3 minus 5 is not going to be 0. 3 minus 5 is not going to be 0. So this is a good solution. Okay? All right, we're going to try it again. We're going to try it another time here. So I am looking, this time it happens to have 3 terms instead of 2. Okay, so we're going to probably see more of them like this than we will the other way. So what would I circle in red for my LCD that matches? Can you tell me that in the chat? What would I circle in red? Awesome. We have an x minus 7 that's repeated, and I'm only going to write that down one time. And then it looks like we also have a 2 that would get underlined. I'm going to write that down as well. Okay. I am going to write this with a little bit more space in it. So when you're writing out your problems, add extra space. Look at how much extra space, because I know I have to multiply everything by the LCD. So I am making sure I have plenty of extra space to do that. Okay. So I am going to now multiply everything through by that LCD, which is the 2 times x minus 7, 2 times x minus 7, and 2 times x minus 7. So every single term. Okay. All right, first term, start canceling stuff. We like that part, right? X minus 7. What are we going to do with that 2 now? What's the fancy word? What do we do with the 2? Tell me in the chat. Tougher to type that one, right? Distribute, multiply. Okay, nice. Okay. So we are going to distribute this in. When I distribute it in, I get 18x. I'm multiplying wrong this morning. I get 4x minus 18. That's better, right? Okay. In this second term, I'm going to cancel the 2's. This time I have to distribute x. So that would give me x squared minus 7x. All right, and then it equals, all right, I'm going to cancel the x minus 7, so I get 5 times 2 is 10. All right, I know I've got to combine like terms, but before I even get to that part, notice I've got a squared there. So squared means that we have a quadratic. Okay, to solve a quadratic, what does my function have to, my expression have to be equal to solve a quadratic? Can you tell me that in the chat? What do I have to be equal to solve a quadratic? Excellent. We've got to be equal to 0. You want me to put your remote controls together? Yeah, there's one. There's 2. There you go. There you go. Okay. All right, awesome. Got to be equal to 0. So I'm going to rearrange this, combine like terms, and get it all equal to 0 in one single step. Okay. So we've got, let me go to something else, x squared. And then let's see, 4x and negative 7x would be negative 3x. And then negative 18, and I'm going to subtract the 10 over, would be negative 28 equals 0. Right, what do I have to do to factor this from here? What am I going to use? Ah, yes, our friend, the magic X, right? We have to use the magic X. Why did you take that off? There you go, here. All right, so the magic X. I need two numbers that multiply to negative 28 and add to negative 3. What are they, everybody? Multiply to negative 28, add to negative 3. All right, I'm seeing some negative 7s and 4s, so let's check that out. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. Negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. I agree. So we have x minus 7 times x plus 4 equals 0. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Does anybody know the name of the property that we need to use? It's the name of the property that allows us to split those up and set them equal to 0. Do you remember the name? It starts with a Z. Ah, Javier, nice job. Zero product property, and Coral's got it, and Abby's got it. Nice, Juliana, good job. Okay, so zero product property, set them both equal to 0. And we've got x equal to 7 and x equal to negative 4. Now, before I can use those as my final answers, I need to test them out. So I am going to go look at these into my original. So I'm going to start by putting in x equals 7. And you'll notice that I cannot put in x equals 7 because it makes it 0. You are not going to you're not going to erase anything. You're not going to take anything out. All you're simply going to do is put a big X through it. And that's your signal to me that you understand that that's an extraneous solution. So you might want in your notes put extraneous solution. But that you don't need to write that. Just put an X through it. All right, and then the negative 4 looks fine, right? It's not going to make any of the denominators 0, so this is your final answer right there, is just negative 4. All right, please don't mess with my phone. Okay, go sit closer to the TV. You can hear it better. Okay. All right. TV, you want to go sit with your brother? Okay. Let's try your turn 2. Okay. Let's see. Your turn 2. Okay, we're good on time. Okay, so I am going to find the LCD again. So in this case, it doesn't look like I get to circle anything, right? There's nothing that matches exactly. So I am just going to underline in blue both of them, right? So x plus 3 times x plus 6. So I'm going to write it a little bit bigger. So 8 times x plus 3 and a little less fuzzy and with more space. And I'm going to multiply everything by the LCD, x plus 3 times x plus 6. X plus 3 times x plus 6. Perfect. All right. We are going to do our favorite thing, canceling, right? So we're going to cancel the x plus 3. I'm going to distribute the 8. So 8x plus 48. Make sure my arithmetic's correct. All right, I'm going to cancel the x plus 6. Ooh, what do I get to do this time? So what do I have to do here to multiply x plus 1 times x plus 3? What do we have to do? Oh, Juliana, nice. We're going to FOIL that, right? Because it's a binomial times a binomial. Oh, here they all come. FOIL, FOIL, FOIL. Good job. All right, so I'm going to multiply x times x, which would be x squared. X times 3 would be 3x. 1 times x would be 1x. And then 1 times 6 would be 6. I'm going to do a little combining on the right, which I probably could have eliminated that step by combining in my head. I'm going to move my work over here a little bit. So again, I have a quadratic. What does the quadratic have to be equal to solve? Can you tell me that in the chat one more time? Nice job. It has to be equal to 0. Okay, so now we're going to move the 8x over and the 48 over. I'm going to have to subtract them both. So I get 0 equals x squared. So 4x minus 8x would be negative 4x. 6 minus 48 is negative 42, which is not right. It's negative 45. What happened? Did I do something wrong? What did I do wrong? Did you guys catch it? I somehow multiplied. Look what I did. I multiplied 1 times 6. I wasn't supposed to multiply 1 times 6, was I? I was supposed to multiply 1 times 3. So make sure that this is a 3 at the end. That makes it a lot better. Makes it correct. All right, so we're actually getting 3 minus 48 is negative 45. So I need good old magic X again, right? Two numbers, I lost my arrow, that multiply to negative 45 and add to negative 4. What do you guys think should go in there? What do you think should go in there? Two numbers that multiply to negative 45 and add to negative 4. Nice, negative 9 and 5. So we have x minus 9 times x plus 5, and we're going to get out our good old zero product property. All right, so we're going to get x equals 9 and x equals negative 5. And I always, always, always have to check for extraneous solutions on these. So I go back and I look at this into my original equations, and I ask, can I put in a 9 and it not be 0? I can. So 9 is a good answer. And I'm going to look at negative 5. I'm going to look at negative 5 compared to these two things. If I put negative 5 into either one of them, I won't get 0. So these are both good answers this time. Apparently, I'm going to teach the rest of the lesson with a visitor on my left. Okay, please don't touch the buttons. That's all I ask. All right, I think we've got like 2 examples left, Davey. Yeah, you can watch that show on, but I'm not turning on any other show. All right, I have it labeled as example A. I'm not sure what I was doing with an example number in here, but it is what it is. So we're going to just go with it. Okay, so before I can do circling what matches that business, there's one other step that we hadn't seen in some of the other examples. So we have a trinomial right here. What do you guys think we should do with that trinomial? What are you dying to do now that you see every trinomial? What do we have to try? What do we have to do? Yes, we must do a magic X. We're going to factor it first, okay? Then do our circling, then multiply everything by the LCD, okay? But I'm just going to write my factors right underneath this guy right here, okay? So I'm going to do my good old magic X to the left side. So 2 numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add to negative 3. What are you guys thinking on that? Multiply to negative 4 and add to negative 3. Please don't touch my screen. Okay, there we go. I don't know sometimes if it's just a delay or if a child has turned off my volume or what. So we've got negative 4 and 1. So in this case, it's an A minus 4 times A plus 1. I know some of you like to change the other variables to X's. Don't get out of that habit, because when it comes to the AP test next year, you have to use whatever they give you, okay? Or you will not get full credit. So let's start good habits now. All right, so I am going to rewrite this as A minus 4 times A plus 1. I'm just only rewriting to give myself a little bit of extra space. Davey, please don't do that. Over 1 and then minus and a little bit more space. And I've got A plus 1 and 1. Okay, so now we are going to try to find an LCD. So notice we would circle an A minus 4. How many times do I get to include the A minus 4 in my LCD? Can you tell me in the chat, how many times do I include that? Nice job. We only put it in 1 time. So we've got A minus 4. And then notice I'm also circling the A plus 1, and I'm only including that once. And then there's nothing else left. So everything was And I'm sorry about my scribbles there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and multiply everything by the LCD. And if I totally lose you guys, I'm sorry. It's impossible with a 2-year-old helper right now. So I'm multiplying everything by the LCD. Okay, so this one here, cross it out, cross it out, cross it out, right? So a minus 5 is all that's left. This one here, cross this out, distribute a positive 1, so a plus 1. And then we get to cross out the a plus 1. Make sure you distribute a negative 1, okay? So it'd be negative a plus 4, and woo, the fractions are gone, baby! The fractions are gone! Woo-hoo! Isn't that exciting? The fractions are gone. All right. So now we're going to solve this. Look, it's not even a quadratic, is it? So we've got the a is gone. We've got a minus 5 equals 5. So a equals 10. Double check to see if that is extraneous by putting it into these guys here. Uh-oh. Okay, you can't touch. You can't touch. What did you do? What did you do? All right. Is it 1? What happened? All right. I lost my check. There we go. Putting in a 1. What happened? Did I do something wrong? Oh, it was slow going through. Okay. So it was my old ones that were coming through. Got it. Okay. I don't know what is going on because he has now pushed all these buttons. So, all right. We've only got one more to do, guys. Look at that. We'll be done. You'll have time to spare, extra time for break, and you should be able to get the homework done all before your second period class starts. All right. So we are going to do what first on example B? What do we need to do to the denominator first? You guys tell me, what do I need to do to the denominator first? All right, it looks like we need a magic X. Sorry, I was trying to redo my notes page here. Okay, so good old magic X. Can you help me out? What two numbers multiply to 12 and add to 8? Can you tell me that in the chat, please? Numbers that multiply to 12 and add to 8. Okay, 6 and 2. Nice job. And I'm just going to simply write it x plus 6 times x plus 2. If I was doing this on my own piece of paper, I wouldn't do the rewrite step that I do to multiply that. In fact, I'm not going to rewrite it this time. I'm going to try to squeeze it in there so you can see kind of how I would write it on my paper. So I would probably write that out and then write these guys underneath. What would I circle in my LCD? What matches? You guys tell me about what matches. Okay, and x plus 6 gets circled, and that goes, I circle it 3 times, but I only have to get to write it once. Is there anything else that matches? Yeah, and as long as it's paired, you can have a triple. As long as it's in 2 places, it becomes part of your LCD. So x plus 2 also matches. So I am going to multiply everything, I'm going to use a different color, by x plus 6 times x plus 2. And x plus 6 times x plus 2, x plus 6 times x plus 2. Okay, so that's what it looks like if I don't rewrite it, which I don't have to do that rewrite step. And again, on your own paper, you're going to have to write it out with extra space. All right, let's do our favorite part. Let's cross some stuff out. Davey, you ready to cross some stuff out? X plus 6, x plus 2, only thing left is 1. I'm going to cross out the x plus 6. Distribute positive 1, so I get x plus 2. Cross out everything here, and I'm getting equal to 2. And Davey, woo, the fractions are going again. Woo-hoo, fractions are going. All right. I'm going to get x by itself, so it's looking like x plus 3 equals 2, and x equals negative 1. I need to double check. See, now here's the downside of crossing stuff out in the rewriting part. I have to make sure that I go back and I look at these denominators and make sure I don't have anything extraneous. And I don't. -1 is not going to make any of those zeros, so -1 is a good answer. Okay? Are there any questions, comments, concerns that we currently have? I believe this week is a spirit week. I do not know what today is. I know I think Thursday is pajama day, which I know might be every day for some of us. But I know I'll at least wear my pajama pants. Today is flannel day. Okay, thank you, Annalisa. Today is flannel day. Awesome. So you should be wearing your flannel. I even have a flannel shirt in there. Yes, every day is pajama day, isn't it? They're just telling us that we should turn our cameras on with our pajamas on Thursday. All right.